Okay, hello. Welcome back to another episode of where I just talk about Final Fantasy 16 in a very sort of unedited, uncut version, and just going through my thoughts of where I currently am in the game currently, where I'm just sparingly play this game. If you're like me, I'm sort of playing this as on a casual basis, where I go for maybe 2 hours a day, rarely even more. Um, and knowing that I can't really post VODs to this channel because it would just mess things up, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about how much better I think the game is going, and I feel like it's really opening itself up to being a little more enjoyable. I would say storytelling and writing is still very much on par with what I said last time. I think it's great. I think it's some of the best writing that is present in a Final Fantasy game, I feel. Voice acting wise, it's delivered spectacularly, and I think in a way it's very, like, the story itself is compelling. A lot of these side quests, the sub characters are very compelling as well. It has this air of I don't want to say it, but it has this air of dryness to it in a way where, coming from a casual standpoint, it can almost feel a little boring. But I can appreciate how well written it is, and just how well thought out and complex a lot of these characters are in regards to where they currently live, the nations, the politics of it all. Overall, I think it's great. So yeah, in short, that is what I feel is currently feel towards the writing. In regards to the fights and level of combat, since then, I feel like going up to the Benedicta fight, it was a little repetitive, knowing that all you had was the Phoenix's abilities and being able to use certain iconic abilities and then doing magic burst combos. But once you get basically absorb Garuda and implement that into your combos, it starts to become 3 times more as fun, I feel. It's super fun just being able to switch abilities on the fly, a la Devil May Cry style, and just figuring out how to extend combos. Obviously, like, the further that you extend or level up specific iconic abilities, the more that the possibilities will just present itself. So with that, I really am looking forward to at least obtaining more iconic abilities and whatnot. Speaking about Benedicta, I think the Garuda fight, while playing as just Clive, was pretty fun. It's an intense sort of set piece that sets up for Ifrit versus Garuda, which I feel like was okay at best. And understandably, I think there really isn't that much more that they could have done with that fight alone. I think it did what it needed to do in presenting itself as this big grand, like the first grand lone like kaiju battle in the game, but at least in the early parts of the game, whilst I guess parlaying the fact that I guess Benedicta was going through, I guess, some level of trauma and past with like Sid and Barnabas, and the history between everyone she deals with. I really wish she kind of stuck around a little more. I feel like I would have really appreciated getting to know her character just a bit more. So yeah. In regards to zones, it's kind of funny where I thought there would be a lot more exploration within these big open areas, in that even though it's not exactly open world, this game, it almost feels very underused. I find myself running through these big fields, while somewhat beautiful and subtle, it almost feels a little plain. That I can understand in terms of how it looks. It's very much reminiscent of Japanese sort of minimalist design, and but from a casual perspective, I think most people would just say that it's uninteresting to look at. I understand both sides, and it's kind of hard to utilize environments such as these to be as complex and diverse as one would hope for it to be, especially when running around and just trying to see what items you can garner from, you know, every corner, or fighting certain enemies and trying to level up as much as you could. And then, much to my surprise, there is a level of grinding in this, an aspect of grinding to this game, where you can just revisit certain big areas and just refight a lot of the enemies, or at least have them respawn, and then just do that in order to, you know, stockpile a lot of AP points and then get your abilities that way. Which I kind of welcome in a way, because it's a bit old school, but I do like to work for my abilities, at least early on. So I guess after the fight with Garuda as Ifrit, it's really nice to be able to at least partner up with Jill once more, and then see how she fights alongside Clive. And this is when I started to feel like this game is feeling a little more Final Fantasy like, with Mughals and Chocobos, and just being on this sort of journey to I guess build up to the fact that we're gonna try to find the dominant of Ifrit, who is mysteriously resembles Joshua, I guess, but his name is Margrave, so it might not actually be Joshua. Who knows? That is something that I feel very particular about, in a good way. So I guess, yeah, I think in terms of how linear this game feels, very similar to Final Fantasy X. It's okay, you know. I don't really find too much of a problem with it, unless I feel like the cutscenes are a little too drawn out, and that's when I start to feel a little sleepy. But again, maybe that's my fault for playing this game too late at night. But overall, I think my impression of this game is really starting to line up and feel a little more optimistic towards it. So yeah, I guess that's all I really had to say about it, really. I just wanted to document my thoughts of this game as I go along with it, perhaps in maybe a couple more videos. Who knows, this may end up being like a 10 episode sort of thing. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.